Wakanda burned under a purple sky, and the Black Panther was nowhere to be found. Wolverine stood at the edge of the vibranium vault and turned his back on it. He had sworn to protect Wakanda, to protect T'Challa's legacy, but he walked away. Why? Because the last man he trusted had just landed from orbit. Superman wasn't there to fight. He was there to ask for a favor no one else would. A favor that would shatter alliances, burn old loyalties, and rewrite fate. Everyone thought Wolverine had betrayed them. But the truth? He did it to stop something worse than war. Wakanda was supposed to be untouchable. After the collapse of the Avengers Initiative and the destruction of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s final satellite base, Wakanda had become the last stronghold of Earth's defense. Vibranium-powered security systems blanketed the skies. The Dora Milaje patrolled the borders like ghosts. And somewhere deep in the jungle, surrounded by bioshields and tech centuries, beyond anything Stark ever made, stood Wolverine. He wasn't there because he wanted to be. He never wanted to be anywhere for long. But after the death of T'Challa and the mysterious disappearance of Shuri, it was Logan who stepped forward, not as a king, not as a savior, but as a promise. A promise that no one else would lay a finger on Wakanda's secrets. Not the mutants, not the Skrulls, not the Avengers, not even the gods. For 6 months, nothing got through. Not even a whisper. But on the 7th month, the sky cracked open. It wasn't a Kree ship or a celestial anomaly. It was him, Superman. He didn't come with fanfare. No explosion, no sonic boom. Just a streak of light, descending faster than any Wakandan scanner could track. And when he landed, it wasn't at the palace. It wasn't near the labs. He went straight to Logan. And that's when everything changed. Wolverine had felt his arrival before he saw him. The air got heavier. The trees stood still, like they were waiting to hear something forbidden. Logan turned around before the last leaf hit the dirt. "You shouldn't be here," he growled. Clark didn't flinch. "I need to talk to you. Alone." Logan didn't move. "This is sacred ground. You don't get to just fly in and—" "There's something under Wakanda," Superman interrupted. "Something even the Panthers didn't know was here. Something that woke up 6 days ago." Logan's eyes narrowed. He'd been feeling it too. A hum in the roots, a shift in the soil. The Panther totems had gone silent 2 nights ago. Even Storm had stopped answering the wind. "What are you talking about?" Superman took a step forward. No cape, no emblem, just the weight of someone who had seen something he could barely understand. "There's a vault beneath the vibranium mines, sealed before Wakanda even had a name. What's in there doesn't belong in this timeline." "Then tell Wakanda," Logan said. "Let the council deal with it." "They can't," Superman replied. "If they open it, the timeline fractures. If they ignore it, it escapes. But if you go in, it ends." Logan shook his head. "You want to walk out of my post, break into a centuries-old vault, and stop something I've never even heard of, based on your word?" Superman didn't blink. Yes, it should have been a fight. If anyone else had asked, Logan would have drawn his claws. But this was Clark, the same man who had once carried Jean's body out of a burning lab without saying a word. The same man who flew Logan across 3 galaxies to get a dying mutant home in time to say goodbye. They weren't friends, but they trusted each other more than they trusted anyone else. Still, Logan's voice was low, heavy, like gravel soaked in blood. "If I leave, Wakanda falls." Superman looked him in the eye. "If you stay, everything falls." Logan lit a cigar, not because he wanted to, but because he needed the smoke to hide the war going off behind his eyes. He had fought in wars where loyalty meant blood. But this was betrayal at a level he couldn't name. "Tell me one thing," he said quietly. "Why me?" Superman's response was instant. "Because you're the only one who won't hesitate." And that's when Logan knew it wasn't a mission. It was a death sentence. That night, without a single word to the Wakandan High Guard, without alerting the vibranium satellites, Logan walked into the mines, alone. The Dora Milaje noticed the silence in his quarters within the hour. Storm flew in from Cairo the moment she heard. And when she landed on the palace steps, her hair wet from a thunderstorm she didn't summon, Her voice cracked through the council like lightning. "He's gone." The council panicked. Thor demanded answers. Was it defection, he roared, or treason? Steve Rogers had gone dark 3 weeks earlier. Some thought Logan had joined him. Others thought Logan had finally snapped and was making a move for the Vault's power. But the truth was far worse than anything they imagined. Logan didn't betray Wakanda. He didn't abandon it. He sacrificed it to protect something bigger. And Superman? He didn't defend him, didn't explain, didn't even speak Logan's name. Because whatever was waking beneath Wakanda needed to be ended in silence. Logan had seen a lot of vaults in his life. Weapon X, the Xavier sublevels, the mutant containment zones under Genosha. But the one beneath Wakanda, it wasn't made by men. The moment he crossed into the lower mines, the air shifted. He wasn't breathing oxygen anymore. He was breathing history. Old angry history, carved into black stone and laced with gold veins of vibranium that pulsed like veins under skin. The walls didn't echo. They absorbed sound. It felt like walking into something that wanted to stay forgotten. Logan didn't flinch. He lit another cigar, bit down, and moved forward. There were no guards, no drones, not even traps. That's how deep this vault was buried, not behind defenses, but behind fear. The kind of fear that convinces a nation to forget its own secrets. Superman's directions had been precise. 12 floors below the primary vibranium vein. Look for the obsidian lion's mouth. There's a key hidden in the left thong. He found it. And when he placed the thong into the socket and turned it, the entire wall folded open, not like a door, but like it was exhaling. Behind it, in perfect silence, was a chamber, circular, smooth, and humming like a heartbeat. At the center was a containment sphere. Inside it, himself. No, not quite. The thing inside the sphere looked like Wolverine. Same size, same claws, same dead stare. But its skin glowed faintly with deep red cracks, and its eyes burned white. Its heartbeat echoed through the chamber, but it wasn't beating for life. It was beating for release. And for the first time in decades, Wolverine took a step back. He wasn't scared of death. He'd died more times than he could count. But this wasn't death. This was erasure. This thing, it wasn't a clone. It wasn't a time traveler. It was something built from his DNA, but mutated by multiversal energy, soaked in raw timelines and forged in a future that never happened. And it was waking up. Wolverine stepped closer to the sphere and saw the inscription around its base. Ancient Wakandan script, nearly unreadable. But he made out 3 words. Do not open. Behind him, Superman's voice echoed. Not loud, not urgent, just tired. It's called Project Revenant. Logan turned, claws already halfway out. You followed me. I had to make sure you'd find it. You knew this was me. Superman nodded. It isn't you. Not anymore. It's a failed echo of a timeline where you died during the Phoenix Crisis. Your body absorbed the cosmic residue. The X gene went unstable. You mutated into something even Jean couldn't stop. Logan glanced back at the thing in the pod. So what's it doing here? Because I brought it here, Superman said, shame hanging on every syllable. After the crisis, I found it on a ruined Earth. It killed everyone. Then it waited. For a signal. For you. Logan clenched his fists. You buried it here without telling anyone? Because I thought I could contain it. You used Wakanda as a vault. You lied to the Panthers. You lied to me. I did, Superman said. And now it's waking up because you're close. The pod flickered. The cracks in the clone's body began glowing brighter, flickering like lightning under skin. Logan felt it now, a pull. Like looking into a mirror that wanted to become you. What does it want? Logan asked, voice dry. You, Superman said. It wants your consciousness, your memories. If it absorbs you, it stabilizes and becomes unstoppable. Then why bring me here? Because, Superman whispered, stepping forward, you're the only one who can get close enough to kill it before it finishes sinking. Logan looked back at the sphere. Of course. It was always going to be him. He didn't need to ask the next question, but he did anyway. What happens if I fail? Superman's face hardened. "I destroy Wakanda." The words hit like a punch to the chest. Not metaphor, not threat, just raw fact. If this thing gets out, it fractures time itself. The multiverse won't survive another cosmic ripple. Logan looked back at the creature in the sphere, still asleep, still absorbing. He looked down at his hands. The claws hadn't come out yet. This wasn't a fight. This was a mercy kill. And mercy had never been his thing. "I get in. I end it," he said. "But after this, you tell the world why Wakanda fell. You tell them it was your call." Superman nodded once. "I'll take the heat." Logan growled, "You better. I've been the villain too many times." As he stepped toward the containment pod, the chamber lights dimmed. The Revenant's eyes flared, its claws extended, identical to his. And for one final second, Logan hesitated, because maybe deep down he wondered, if he failed, would anyone even know the difference? The Revenant was gone, not destroyed, not buried, just gone. Wolverine had done what Superman asked, stepped into the chamber, faced his corrupted echo, and unleashed the Berserker. But when the smoke cleared, the pod was shattered, the echoes were silent, and Logan was alone, bleeding, breathing, but unsure if he'd actually won. And outside, Wakanda was burning. It began with a blackout. Then seismic tremors shook the outer districts. The vibranium grid collapsed one zone at a time. And then came the breach. At first, the Dora Milaje thought it was an inside attack. Their systems registered movement beneath the vault, energy spikes, DNA fluctuations, even brief flashes of Logan's own signature multiplied. By the time Storm arrived, the sky was already ash-colored. She landed in the central plaza, barefoot, hair crackling with lightning, face carved with rage. She didn't ask questions. She only said one word: "Where is Logan?" No one answered. Not the High Council, not the generals, not the AI system struggling to come back online. Only one voice dared to respond, and it came from orbit. Superman's transmission cut through all Wakandan channels. Logan is gone, but so is the threat. The vault is empty. The danger is over. He didn't sound proud. He didn't even sound relieved. Just tired. Storm stared into the clouds, fists trembling. "You did this." "No," Superman said calmly. "He did." 3 seconds later, Thor broke the atmosphere. He didn't speak. He didn't warn. He just dropped from the sky, hammer first, slamming into the palace floor so hard the council chambers cracked open. His voice was thunder. "You let the beast loose," he roared. "You broke the council's trust, and you brought Superman into our house." The elders tried to speak, but Thor didn't care. He turned to Storm. "Where is the traitor?" Storm's eyes burned. "Gone. Dead." She didn't answer. That was enough. The Avengers called an emergency tribunal. Not for Logan, for Wakanda. Because the world thought Wakanda had betrayed the global alliance. And if they didn't clean it up fast, it would spark open war. Black Widow resurfaced for the first time in months. Falcon grounded his squadron to intercept incoming satellite footage. Captain Marvel flew to Mars to scan for cosmic ripples from the vault's detonation. But no one could explain what they were seeing, because something was still out there. Not the Revenant, not yet, but pieces of it. Fragments of timelines slipping through the cracks. Copies of Logan's claws, embedded in bodies that were never his. Mutated cells found in Skrull camps. Glitches in Krakoa's resurrection protocols. And one image, pulled from a damaged sword satellite, of Logan, or something wearing his face, walking across the ruins of a dead moon. The world didn't know the full story, but they knew enough to blame him. Wolverine was now wanted in 3 sectors. Earth's Mutant Council declared him rogue. Even Magneto, who once defended Logan's defiance, issued a cold statement. Wolverine made a choice. That choice has consequences. And Storm? She left Wakanda the same night. No words, no farewell. She flew straight into the dark, trailing thunder and silence behind her. Because she knew the truth. Logan hadn't just left. He'd been erased. The clone, Revenant Logan, didn't kill him. It became him. And now, somewhere in the multiverse, Wolverine existed in pieces. His soul scattered across broken timelines. His choices twisted into paradoxes no one could untangle. Superman didn't tell the council that part. He didn't tell anyone, because he knew they wouldn't understand what Logan had done. They wouldn't understand that the man they now hunted, the one blamed for Wakanda's fall, wasn't just a rogue mutant. He was the reason the timeline still existed. But the fallout was already too deep. Atlantis severed ties with the surface. The Shi'ar Empire sent a warning beacon to Earth. Even Krakoa began arming its gates, preparing for an invasion that might come from within. And Superman? He returned to orbit, alone. He didn't go back to the Justice League. He didn't respond to calls from Batman. He just hovered in silence, eyes closed, replaying that final moment in the vault. The look on Logan's face, not of fear, but of acceptance. Because Wolverine knew. He knew that saving the world meant becoming its enemy. Again, the multiverse didn't thank him. The council didn't praise him. The heroes didn't search for him. They buried him in rumor. Some said he went underground. Others said he fused with the vault energy and ascended. A few whispered that he became something else, a timeline warden, watching the cracks from the shadows. But only Superman knew the real answer, and he kept it to himself. Because some stories aren't told in statues or speeches. Some stories are buried in vaults under nations that no longer trust their heroes. No one heard from Wolverine again. Not Storm, not Magneto, not even Jean. But the signs began almost immediately. Tiny fractures in reality. Mutant resurrection logs looping with incorrect timestamps. DNA results returning with echoes of genetic signatures that didn't belong in any known universe. Time travel devices, even the ones designed by Reed Richards, began pinging error codes that had no defined language. The TVA, silent for centuries, lit up with one word: deviation. And at the center of every anomaly, one genetic fingerprint: Logan. But not this Logan. Something wearing his skin, moving like him, fighting like him. But with a mind fractured by multiversal bleed. The Revenant wasn't dead. It had survived. When Logan entered the containment chamber under Wakanda, he didn't destroy the clone. He merged with it, not by choice, but because the Revenant had learned. Learned to infect memory, bend instinct, mimic emotion. What returned from that chamber wasn't just Wolverine. It was Revenant Wolverine, and it didn't belong to any timeline. Superman knew at the moment he heard the name Red Howl, whispered on a mutant distress channel orbiting Mars. The report spoke of a lone figure carving through a brood invasion, claws glowing red, voice silent, eyes white with flickering fractures of time. He moved like Logan. He bled like Logan. But the man who fought didn't stop fighting, because there was no off switch anymore. This new Logan had no origin point, no future, no death. He was outside of the timeline, but inside everything. And now, he was hunting. Not people, not enemies, but variants. In less than a week, Revenant Wolverine eliminated 7 alternate versions of himself. Logans from peaceful futures, from broken ones, from timelines where he died in love or never picked up a blade. It was as if he was erasing possibility itself. And each time he killed one, he grew more stable. The multiverse began to ripple. Tiny, almost unnoticeable shifts at first. Cyclops losing memories that didn't match reality. Xavier seeing future flashes he had never trained for. Magneto waking up and speaking languages he never learned. Then it escalated. The Phoenix Force blinked, vanished for 6 whole seconds. Jean Grey collapsed on Krakoa, screaming Logan's name without knowing why. Storm nearly drowned mid-flight when the atmosphere itself bent, for just a second, into a past that never happened. And on Earth, 412, a version of Hank McCoy documented a terrifying truth. Revenant Wolverine wasn't collapsing timelines. He was consolidating them, pulling all alternate Logans into one form. And with each kill, each absorption, he became more than just a weapon. He became a nexus, a walking anchor point for chaos energy, bonded with raw vibranium radiation, laced with Phoenix residue, and carrying the mental scars of every version of himself that had ever suffered. The hidden war had begun, but no one declared it. No council, no team, no alliance, because the first person to try to stop Revenant Wolverine disappeared. Not died, erased. Doctor Strange, armed with the Book of Ashanti, confronted the Revenant over the ruins of Earth. 213. 3 spells in, he blinked out of the timeline. No echo, no soul print, just silence. The Illuminati burned the footage. Not out of fear, out of respect. Because if Strange could be erased, no one was safe. And then came the worst part. Revenant Wolverine spoke. The first words recorded came from the ruins of Earth-Kaizen, whispered over the broken body of a cyber-enhanced gene. There should only be one of me. That was his mission. Not vengeance, not madness. Singularity. Across the multiverse, alternate Wolverines began hiding. One retreated into the negative zone. Another fused with techno-organic armor from Warlock and sealed himself inside the sun. One became intangible and merged with the astral plane, erasing his body so there was nothing left to kill. But it didn't matter. The Revenant found them, because he was them. And with each one he erased, the fractures grew deeper, the lines between timelines thinner. Reality started glitching. People remembered lives they never lived. Magneto stared at his hands and saw adamantium. Dead timelines bled into living ones. Logan's voice echoed through Cerebro even though he wasn't on Earth. And somewhere, in a small corner of a forgotten world, a child sketched a clawed man in red and said, "He's coming." Superman watched it unfold from orbit. He hadn't moved since Wakanda, hadn't spoken, because he'd seen this coming. When he brought the Revenant to Wakanda, he thought he was burying a monster. But now he understood. The monster had never been the clone. It was the idea that somewhere out there, a version of Wolverine existed who could survive everything, who had survived everything. Now, that version wanted to be the only one left. And Superman knew the war wasn't coming. It had already started, silently, in shadows. Across worlds no one would remember, because that's what the Revenant did. He didn't just kill. He made sure you were never born. Superman didn't fly. He descended, slow, deliberate, through a breach in reality carved by the last Revenant kill. Below him, the planet wasn't a planet anymore. It was a graveyard of timelines, twisted mountains made of memories that didn't belong, oceans rippling with the voices of erased futures. And in the center, standing in silence, was him, not Logan, the last one, the singularity, Revenant Wolverine. He turned without turning. His body didn't shift, reality did. His face was calm, but there were too many eyes behind the one pair, too many screams behind his breath. Superman landed hard. "You remember me?" he asked. Revenant spoke slowly. "You carried me to Wakanda. Thought you were burying a weapon, but I was a seed. You were a mistake." Revenant nodded. "So was evolution. But here we are." Superman stepped forward. "There's nothing left to consolidate. You've absorbed them all." Revenant's claws extended, glowing with broken time, stained with futures that never got to happen. "Not all. One is missing. You want our Logan. He wants me too. I feel him, buried inside, clawing to breathe." Superman clenched his fists. "He died saving us all." "No," Revenant said. "He became me to finish what you couldn't." A silence passed like thunder. Then Superman charged. No speeches, no last warnings, just impact. They collided like collapsing stars. Superman's blows rippled through dimensions. Revenant's claws slashed through possibilities. Every hit changed something. Cities vanished, stars blinked in and out of existence, names erased from memory. But Superman didn't stop, because somewhere in that corrupted body, he felt him. Logan, the real Logan. And then it happened. Just before the final blow, Superman saw it, a flicker. The claws retracted. The stance dropped. And from inside Revenant's mouth came a whisper. "Clark." Superman hesitated just for a second. And that second was everything. Revenant lunged. But this time, Superman didn't counter. He embraced him, tightly, like he was holding a friend falling into the abyss. And as Revenant screamed not in rage, but in confusion, Superman did what Logan would have done. He held on, until the scream stopped, until the light broke, until all that was left was silence. And then a body, not Revenant, not Superman, just Logan, unconscious, breathing, alone. Superman collapsed beside him, blood in his mouth, timelines flickering behind his eyes. And as the last rift sealed, as reality reset itself one final time, Superman smiled. Because the war was over, and Wolverine was finally just Wolverine again.